Hey everybody, welcome back. So today is a fun little ditty. We are going to work to get a furnace out of an RV, this J-Flight behind me, and then we can fix it. So the problem that we're having with the furnace is the fan kicks on, but the igniter never ignites the propane, and so therefore no heat. Let's see if we can get it out. First thing to do is I took these screws out, and they used some super heavy duty caulk, which is awesome, to seal it. And so I had to cut that, and I took that, and so what that does, that's the exhaust for the furnace. So that will now allow the furnace to come out. Let me show you what's next. Okay, so I found my furnace. It's just underneath here. This is the refrigerator on top. So there were a few little brackets to take out, like this little bracket. That was right here, and then another little bracket that was right here. I took those out, and now I'm going to disconnect this gas line. But before I do that, I'm going to drain all of the propane out of the tank, or out of the lines. I'm going to do that by turning this on, and then just letting it burn out. Because when I unscrew that hose, I do not want it to, let some gas out on me. Okay, so I've got this hose unscrewed, put it out of the way. Now, I'm gonna bring the tripod over. Now let me try and lift this sucker out. Okay, so I don't have the tripod with me, so I didn't get that, but see the little hole back there? That's where the exhaust would go, and that I needed to pull the furnace this way, and then it is loose. I'm struggling a little bit to get this duct off here. I forgot to mention that you want to take the ducts off before so you have some wiggle room, and for some reason this one is causing a big pain. So I might just take this panel off to free it. Just like that, I got it out. So I need to inspect several different parts here. So you've got the control board right here. This is the power switch, just so you know if your furnace is not working and you need to reset it. You can just do that. A variety of switches. This right here is the switch that controls whether or not the fan is going. And I think there's a switch back in here. Right there. I don't know if you can see it. It might be too bright. But the switch back in there, I think, is the culprit. It's a high limit switch. Let me pull this case off and I'll see. Okay, so I've got this thing out, and I found this little high limit switch right here. So I can check that by getting the multimeter here. And it's a little bit tricky to dive in there. I did check it prior to putting on this video, and it worked. And so next is I'm going to take this little switch out. This is the fan switch. So essentially there's a little paddle wheel in there that indicates whether the fan is blowing hard enough. Let me take that off real quick. Okay, so I got this thing out. There was a little bit of fuzz right in here, which could have been stopping this thing from working. I did also check this with the multimeter, and it appears that there is a connection when this is pushed. So I think that the junk in there might be the cause of the problem. Let me put all this back together. I'll hook it back up and we'll see what happens. Okay, I've got it back in there. I haven't hooked up the ductwork or any of that kind of stuff yet, just because I want to make sure that it's going to start. So first thing, make sure to bleed any kind of air. Okay, we got that out. Now, let's start it up, see what happens. Kick it on. Listen for the click. Okay, I just heard the click. Not letting the gas through. Guess I still have more work to do. Okay, so I'm back working on the furnace again, and I have tested all of the sail switch, the high limit switch. Those seem to be working great. One thing that I noticed is I took the control board out, and it was sitting there, and it ran just fine with it taken out. I put it back in, and it stopped working. So there's some kind of a loose connection or a fault in the control board. So I bought a new control board, and we're going to install that and see what happens. Okay, so I pulled this one out. Had to take this panel off right here first. But notice it has the plugs over here versus this one, the plugs on this side. It probably doesn't matter at all. There's a 6-pin connector, everything lines up, little plug there. So we'll need to take this off, and then we'll be able to test it. So that fixed it. So the board is on the complete other side of this. It gets shoved up against the wall, so it makes it really hard to work on, but they thought that it was effective. Anyway, so I'll show you it running. I'm going to get all the ductwork hooked back up, and then and show you it running. I'm going to put it all together. So it was a control board. We did test it, and it ran like a champ. So we'll show you in just a minute. Okay, we're here to test it. Let's bleed the air out of the line. Okay, air is bled out of the line. Let's make sure that this thing is on. Okay, let's turn it on. Okay, we have all the ductwork hooked up, the gas line hooked up. Let's wait for it to click on. Notice how the panel and everything is in the very back of it. Isn't that great? What a great design here. Okay, so it clicked on. Didn't hear it click on, but my goodness, it was really warm. Coming out of this vent right here. So, good to go, just like that, fixed it.